My name is Mia, and I'm 28 years old now. But the story I'm about to tell begins when I was just 18, standing in the living room with my SAT results in my trembling hands. "Save that money for your brother," Dad said, leaning back in his chair, a grin on his face like he'd just told a joke. My score, 1470, it didn't matter. Not to him, not to anyone else in the room. The words didn't just sting, they settled around me, heavy and permanent, like a decision already made long before I even opened a prep book. I held the report, imagining a moment that never came. I thought maybe a nod, a quiet, "good job." Instead, a laughter. Cold, sharp, and unforgettable. Mom didn't laugh. She just stared, her face unreadable, that same tight expression she always wore when reality didn't go her way. I should have known then that silence from her could hurt more than Dad's words ever could. "He needs it more," Dad continued casually, like we were discussing dinner plans instead of my future. "He's got potential. You'll be fine anywhere." Anywhere. That word echoed in my head, disguised as comfort, but tasting like an insult. Weeks passed. Nights blurred into early mornings. I applied anyway. Essays rewritten, recommendation letters requested with care, every little detail double-checked. I didn't tell them about acceptance emails or scholarship interviews. For once, I kept something purely for myself. Something secret. Something mine. But secrets in a house like mine don't stay hidden for long. One evening, I came home to a sharp, unfamiliar smell. Not food. Something burning. My stomach sank before my brain could catch up. I ran to the backyard, and there she was, Mom. Flames danced in her hands, consuming months of hard work. My college applications, my future, turning to ash in front of me. I froze. Shock rooted me to the spot. "You're not leaving this family behind," she said calmly, almost explaining something reasonable. My voice, when it finally emerged, trembled. "What matters?" I asked, barely above a whisper. Her answer was simple. "Your brother." That was it. No apology. No anger. Just finality. The quiet snap of something inside me. Something I didn't even realize had been holding on, breaking. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My college applications, every essay, every recommendation, every careful plan I had made, turning to ashes right in front of me. The fires seemed alive, curling around my dreams, mocking every sleepless night I had endured. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My mind refused to process reality. If I didn't react, maybe it wasn't real. But the smoke stung my eyes, and the crackling sound made my chest tighten with a mix of fear and anger I had never felt before. "You're not leaving this family," Mom said again, like she was delivering a lesson. "We need to focus on what matters." "What matters?" I whispered, my voice small but sharp, trembling with every word. "Your brother," she repeated calmly. That simple sentence hit me harder than any slap, any scream, or any fight. Months of effort, dreams I had nurtured in secret, reduced to nothing, and there was no one to blame but them. That night, I packed a small bag. Just the essentials, a few clothes, my documents, and the one acceptance letter untouched in my email. I didn't leave a note. I didn't say goodbye. For the first time, I chose myself without asking permission. The first few weeks alone were brutal. Motel rooms that smelled faintly of old carpets, instant noodles, job applications that went nowhere. It was exhausting. I worked 2 part-time jobs just to keep afloat. Nights stretched endlessly, filled with self-doubt. Had I overestimated myself? Was this the life I deserved? But slowly, things began to shift. A small internship here, a temporary project there. Piece by piece, I started to rebuild what they had tried to destroy. It wasn't the path I had imagined. It wasn't what I had dreamed of, but it was mine. And that ownership felt better than any applause or recognition could have. 6 months later, Thanksgiving approached. I hadn't spoken to them since the night I left. Not a call, not a message. Part of me thought they wouldn't even notice. But something pulled me back. Not forgiveness. Not closure. Just curiosity. I wanted to see if anything had changed. The house looked exactly the same. The same porch light, the same worn steps, the same feeling of walking into a place that never really felt like home. Dinner was awkward. 4 smiles. Small talk. Ethan barely looked at me. Dad acted like nothing had happened. And Mom, she avoided my eyes entirely. The tension was heavy enough to choke on. Then the phone rang. Silence fell. Mom reached for it hesitantly. Hello. Her voice was calm, but her face told a different story. Pale, tense, her hand tightening around the receiver. I watched as everything shifted. Something was coming. Something that would change the family forever. Mom's hand trembled slightly as she held the phone. Her eyes were wide, locked on nothing, lips parted as if the words on the other end were too heavy to even speak. Dad, ever casual, leaned forward, curiosity creeping back in his face. What is it? He asked. But Mom didn't answer right away. She whispered, almost to herself, It's Grandma's lawyer. The words hit the room like lightning. Grandma? That name hadn't crossed my mind in years. Not since they made it clear she wasn't welcome anymore, after refusing to fund Ethan's endless projects. Dad's face twisted in confusion and skepticism. A lawyer? For what? Mom swallowed, her hand still gripping the receiver. It's about her estate, and you, Mia. I froze. My heart thudded in my chest. For years, I had felt invisible, unworthy, and overlooked. And now, a phone call was about to change everything. What about her? Dad asked, his voice sharpening. Mom's eyes darted to the table, then back up. She passed away 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. Not a single message. Not a call. Nothing. The room went silent. My chest tightened. My mind raced. And then she continued, her voice steady but heavy with emotion. She left everything, all her property, all her assets, investments to her granddaughter. To you, Mia. Silence. Not tense, not awkward, just raw shock. Dad's face turned pale. He shook his head. That can't be right. There must be a mistake. The lawyer's calm voice cut through, clear and firm. There is no mistake. I felt a strange calm wash over me. Steadying my hands as I reached for the envelope, the lawyer slid across the table. My fingers trembled slightly as I opened it. Mia, it began. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. It means you finally chose yourself. I've watched how they treated you, how strong you became when you walked away. This is more than an inheritance. It's a chance they tried to take from you. Tears blurred my vision, but I read on. You were never less. You were just surrounded by people who couldn't see your worth. Do not let them hold you back. Build the life you deserve. Now, always. Dad's voice erupted suddenly, full of disbelief and anger. This is manipulation. She wasn't thinking straight. The lawyer interrupted firmly. There's a clause. If anyone contests her will unfairly, they forfeit any remaining consideration. Dad's hands fell slack. No loopholes. No escape. For the first time in my life, they had nothing over me. I looked around. Mom's face was pale, tense, afraid. Ethan's mouth hung open. And me? I felt free. The fire of betrayal had burned everything I thought I knew. And yet, it had cleared a path I never imagined. One that was finally mine. We left the lawyer's office in silence. The air felt lighter this time, different. Not heavy, not suffocating. For the first time, I felt in control of my own life. Dad's anger simmered beneath the surface, but he couldn't touch me. Mom looked drained. Her shoulders slumped as if the weight of the truth had finally caught up with her. Ethan, I didn't even know where he had gone. As we walked to the parking lot, Mom finally spoke, her voice soft and hesitant. Mia, we're still family. I stopped. I turned, really looked at her this time. The woman who had once burned my dreams, who had sided with my brother over me. She stood there, fragile, remorseful. But in that moment, I realized something important. The night they tried to destroy me, I chose myself. And nothing, Not fire, not betrayal, not disappointment could take that away from me. I got into my car. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I left. Calmly, confidently, knowing that for the first time, I was building a life that belonged to me. And only me. The path ahead wasn't easy. There would still be struggles, long nights, and moments of doubt. But now I knew my worth. Now, I knew I didn't need anyone's approval to chase my dreams. Grandma's final gift wasn't just money or property. It was validation, justice, and the freedom to create a life on my own terms. If you've ever felt overlooked, betrayed, or underestimated, remember Mia's story. Your worth isn't defined by others. Your dreams aren't theirs to destroy. Choose yourself. Stand tall. Fight for your future. And never forget, sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most rewarding victories. Call to action. If Mia's journey inspired you, hit the like button, share this story with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more shocking and emotional revenge tales that prove resilience always wins. Don't skip. Every second counts.